Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the United States. It is time for the GT Black Series tour to continue. We're kicking off here in Los Angeles, in fact, with this incredible view over the downtown skyscrapers. For a long journey over the next month, we're going to be going all the way from here in California to Miami, Florida. Thousands of miles, continuing the tour that began at the tail end of last year. I've already driven this car over 7,000 miles here in the USA, having started in New York City, and in fact, it feels a little bit like that because we have brought the storms to LA. It has been pouring with rain. The clouds are looking pretty angry, but that's not going to stop the fun because today we are jumping straight in at the deep end. We're going to head over to the Peteresen Museum, who have the annual Shelby Cruise-In today, which is celebrating what would have been the 100th birthday of Carroll Shelby. We're then going to head from there to Beverly Hills, some photo shoots, car spotting, chase down all of the epic cars here in LA, and hopefully the weather isn't going to have put too many people off. But I tell you what, it's good to be back with this. It's been in storage with cars over here in LA for the last month or so since I parked it up, but it's ready and raring to go. So let's do this. LA, the GT Black Series tour continuing. It's going to be a good time ahead. That is quite the view, I'm not going to lie. Here with the palm trees, although I tell you what, some sunshine would be very welcome. We left the UK in winter, hoping we'd have some lovely weather out here. Alas, not the case today, but I'm sure it's coming. Anyway, I'm sure you're wondering about this. No, I have not yet managed to fix the broken windshield. More on that a little bit later on, but everything else with the car is ready to rock and roll. We've just filled it up. We've got a full tank of 101 octane fuel, which is exactly what you want for this kind of thing. My 850 horsepower modified GT Black Series. We're running on the Cup 2 tyres, with potentially some snowy weather ahead of us on the tour, which is something to be a little bit anxious about, as we're going to be going from here to Arizona, across to Texas, Tennessee. We're then going to be heading through Georgia and down to Florida, down to Miami, to bring this car back to where we spent a lot of time over the last year or two. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is a great car for the purpose, although I'll probably need to get it serviced. Anyway, we should get on the road, head down that way over towards the Petersen before the event comes to a complete end so that we can catch some of the Shelbys. I'm just going to hope that the sun is coming back out because we're in LA. It's supposed to be lovely. Anyway, let's get this started. There we go. We have just shy now of 13, the usual message we get, 13,000 miles. So a few things about the car. By way of a quick reminder, apologies to those of you who know all of this, that traffic sign message is always going to be there because we're a very long way from home. We're out of region. This crack in the windshield happened when we were driving I think in Nevada. It's been sealed, so it's not expanding. It's actually been like that for 2 months. Unfortunately, you can't get a new one here. It's very complicated, but they prevent right-hand drive windows being imported into the US to prevent grey import cars. You have to get a right-hand drive one because all of the sensors up here are over to the left side for a right-hand drive car, or they would be on the right side for a left-hand drive one, so you can't just interchange them, even if that sounds a little bit silly. But let us go. We've got about 20 minutes from here to the Petersen to catch the end of this event. I've been seeing some of the updates and highlights and things from there, but it is very, very, very strange to be in a right-hand drive UK car that we know from driving all around Europe, the Nürburgring, the Middle East, Yas Marina, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, you name it, and now obviously here in LA, currently with these fabulous views through the rain clouds. Yesterday was a complete washout. It was torrential, full-on storm. But hey, it's good to be back. It's good to be back at the wheel of this thing, and it's good to be getting the car activities immediately underway. This route is pretty cool. We're literally going straight through downtown, past some of the skyscrapers of this whole area. I haven't spent much time around downtown. Now, if I drop it into individual mode and start dropping down some gears, wait for it. Okay, I know it's artificial, the pops and bangs and crackles that you get in this thing, but hey, it's fun. What you've got to remember is this car is savagely fast. In fact, we had a track day at Circuit of the Americas in Texas on the way over, and we're going to be having another track day as well, which I'm very much looking forward to, plus just plenty of miles, because a car like this is built and intended to be driven. The whole point is to use them, and that's what I believe you should do. And if you think about it, to have done 13,000 miles, when I took delivery of this car about 1.5 years ago, then it spent about 3 months being painted, and of course it spent quite a lot of time on a boat back from the Middle East to the UK and then out to the US. We flew it originally out to Dubai, So it spent a lot of time being unavailable. That is a whole lot of miles, and I want to do a whole lot more. I want to really put it to the test. It's such a good car to use for the purpose. We've got so much luggage space behind us. We've got Mercedes dealers everywhere should we need them. Yes, okay, the windshield or windscreen is a slightly frustrating example because that hasn't been so easy to replace and resolve, but it's done really well. Like, there hasn't been anything that the car has done wrong in the whole time of this tour, which is brilliant. This is the building we have come to see, the instantly recognizable, very distinct Peteresen Museum. Look, there's a Cobra just there. I should probably have worked out where we were going into the car park on that side first, I think. Maybe, maybe not, maybe we go in here. I don't entirely know, to be honest, because we have not signed on in advance per se. We are just turning up. Is this where we go in? I think this is where we go in. And the main event is up at the top. But the car park will be filled with cool stuff. So let's see where this takes us. Check this out. Had a Cobra, we've got a pair of GT500s. Hey, this is a good way to get our visit to Los Angeles started. Nice. I guess we need to get parked somewhere. Probably drive up a touch. But 2 GT500 carbon fiber track packs. That one's from Texas. That's pretty cool. So up here we go. Thankfully also, this car's not too low to the ground. The front splitter like that does not catch. You can just drive straight up. Not sure if we're able to go all the way to the top. We do slightly catch underneath because of the aero and things that you have down there. Let's see if we can get literally to the event because it's so close to the end. Maybe it's kind of open a little bit. Even this level, look at this, we've got GT4. Oh yeah, this is cool. All of the Shelbys and everything, GT350s. Oh yeah, we're in the right place. Look at that. That's epic. Tons of GT500s. I don't think I've ever seen so many Shelbys together. That's cool. What a nice lineup. What a lovely lineup. And there's a GT3 just there as well. Oh, Ford GT. 2004, 2005 Ford GT over that away. And a new Ford GT right behind it. Oh, okay, this is going well. This is going very well. This is a good start to the day. I like this. Absolutely where we should be. Look at this, all the different colors. Everything. All I'm hearing right now are the noises of Mustangs. We've got all sorts of different cars around. This is a really, really cool lineup actually of everything. I can hear plenty of burbles, revs, crackles, V8, glorious sounds all around here at the Petersen in the garage. Well worth a quick stop off. We should wander up this way, squeeze through, go see what we can find. Kind of missing my GT500 right now. Wish it was out here. Alas, it's the other side of the world. Keep squeezing through. That's quite cool. Full wide body everything. Well, we clearly arrived here at the right time. Excuse the music in the background, but this is quite a spectacular trio of cars right now. Firstly, on the right-hand side, we have the Heritage Edition Ford GT from the first year that they did in the livery to mimic that of the GT40 that won at Le Mans back in 1966, the black with the silver stripes with the number 2, with the bronze wheels on it as well. This is actually Billy Johnson's car, who is here as well. Billy drove me in my GT500 around Button Willow last year, 2 years ago actually I should say. Then next to that we have the Carroll Shelby Centennial Mustang, of which they made 100 cars for the 100th year of, well, what would have been Carroll Shelby's 100th birthday. You can see here 1923 to 2023, specific car with a few upgrades, only 100 of them in total. Then if I try and squeeze round to where the big crowd is on the other side, we have Bruce Meyer's #1 Cobra, the #1 Cobra car. Literally, I have filmed with Bruce's collection before, but this is a rather special thing to be just chilling here. This is unbelievable to see this car, the #1 car. Wow, that's really, really, really cool to see. That's pretty priceless. I mean, absolutely dwarfs anything modern. Tens of millions, very, very special. They're just going to drive it home, amazing. Well, how about this for the lobby here at the Peteresen Museum to come and have a quick look. They have a few of the hypercars on display as part of the second iteration of the Hypercars exhibit, which we're going to take a quick look at in a moment. Some of the greatest cars in the world, starting right here with an FXXK Evo. This is the track version of the LaFerrari, makes 1050 horsepower from that hybrid V12 setup, and it looks bonkers. Next to it, is the road-going Icona Series Monza. This is an SP1 actually, the single-seat derivative of the Monza of the 500 cars. Customers could choose which way they would have it. Over this side, if we come through, is a Koenigsegg Regera, one of only 80 cars. This one's actually nicknamed Gotham, with the blue carbon with those exposed black stripes as well up through the center. And behind it is a car from California. This is from the Aria group, the Aria FXE concept, which I think was introduced 5 or 6 years ago. It's giving me some Rimac Nevera vibes actually looking at it. But this is just in the lobby. This is just the start of the Hypercars exhibit here at the Petersen. So let's head up and go and see some more. This is what we have come to see, the Hypercars exhibit here at the Petersen, a room filled with the most extraordinary cars from around the world. We're talking the likes of the Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport, a Pagani Zonda Tricolore, Koenigsegg 1-1, Lamborghini Sian, the Rimac Nevera just here, and plenty of others to learn about as we go and explore through this amazing gallery, the Bruce Meyer Family Gallery here at the Peteresen Museum. But this is Hypercars, the allure of the extreme, the graphic with a LaFerrari flanked by a Bugatti Veyron and the Neo EP9 electric hypercar. But what exactly is a hypercar? The definition is elusive and debatable. It means different things to different people. A combination of factors: price, rarity, top speed, performance, exclusivity, what engine it has, what history the brand has, the heritage, and so many other details. But this, perhaps the ultimate example, the Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport. The Pur Sport is limited to only 60 cars out of the total of the 500 Chirons that they are making, all of which are now spoken for. But this is the most dynamic of all different Bugatti Chiron derivatives, distinct with this X-Fighter wing that you find at the rear, and the specification of this particular car is actually stunning. The metallic pearlescent white paint contrasted against this very dark tinted exposed carbon fiber, the gloss black for the C that encompasses the doors, again the gloss black for the lightweight wheels, the red details for the brake calipers, also the Bugatti text that you have over that rear wing, and this famous engine, the 8-litre quad-turbo W16 that makes 1,500 horsepower, effortless performance. And what a car! I can tell you from personal experience driving one of these at Bilsterberg in Germany, the racetrack, what a drive that was. But we move on to an absolute legend of the hypercar game, the Pagani Zonda, and this particular car is Dynamai's Zonda Tricolore. It's one of only 3 in total, but every Zonda version is special, from the original car to the S, the F, the Cinque, of which they made 5 coupes, followed by the 5 Cinque Roadsters, but then 3 of these, a tribute to the Italian Air Force. In fact, all of the cars finished in this blue tinted exposed carbon, the gold wheels, you have this wing at the back, this long flat wing, you've got that famous Pagani exhaust system, the 4 tailpipes inside the circular shield, you've got the intakes here, the funnels for cooling of the naturally aspirated V12, the shark fin over there as well, and in fact the painted tricolore stripes that come over towards the nose of the car. I've always felt that it's one of the absolutely epic versions of this car. Prior to the introduction of the 760s, the tricolore, truly special, and probably a $10 million car or something of that nature. Now let me squeeze through over this way to come to something a little less well known, the Laraki Sahara. This is actually a Moroccan hypercar, 1,550 horsepower from a 7-litre V8. 2 cars were commissioned by the King of Morocco, one for his own collection and one to be on display that we see, I think, right here. Those ridiculously large rear arches that you have over this thing, the Laraki. Oh, there we go, round towards the back, the Sahara, the first time that I've seen that car. We then have a McLaren Senna with the full exposed carbon fiber bodywork. There are 500 McLaren Sennas. I'm not sure exactly how many were made with the carbon fiber bodywork, but it was a $250,000 option squeezed around past the back on top of the base price. Let's say a painted version of the car like mine. Very, very cool to see. We also have a 918 Spyder Weissach package, the Weissach package being the lightweight track-focused version of the 918 examples they made, distinct with its carbon fiber spoiler, carbon flicks here at the back, the lightweight magnesium wheels, carbon Targa roof panels, but only the Weissach cars have this carbon fiber windshield and A-pillar surround, which you can spot a car that's had some of the other upgrades as opposed to one that left the factory as a Weissach just through that. Now, out of those cars, they also had the AC air conditioning deleted as standard in a Weissach, but you could opt to add it back in should you wish, and I think many of them will have done. We get to something quite extreme right now. This is Michael Fuchs's Hispano-Suiza Carmen Bologna. Hispano-Suiza are a Spanish company, a lot of history to the brand, relaunched with the Carmen, and look at this up close. This is actually a purple painted tinted violet carbon fiber over the bodywork with that very white interior against it. Michael Fuchs is famous for his car collection and his extreme color choices and options that he's had on various different cars over the years. And just look at this, I have actually seen that before, as I have also seen this very car, this Koenigsegg 1-to-1. I saw it at Ferrari Lake Forest in Illinois on a previous tour up towards Chicago, but this is one of the 6 or 7, if you include the prototype, 1-to-1s, Koenigsegg's, and I think the world's first 1-to-1 power to weight ratio production road car. 1,360 horsepower, 1,360 kilos, 5-litre twin-turbo V8, all of the aero work, as you can see, going on here, snorkel over the top, the way this wing is mounted from above, but also out of the roof of the car effectively. They incorporated some of the elements of this, like the engine power upgrade, for example, into the Agera RS, of which they made 25 that followed, but the 1-to-1 is really the ultimate in those terms. Very, very special car. We come past, though, to the Lamborghini Sian. This has been drawing quite a crowd here at the Hypercar exhibit. One of 63 coupes. There are a further 19 roadsters, 1963 being the year that Lamborghini was founded. This particular example has this fade from the exposed carbon through towards this red metallic paint at the front. Look at the way they've done that through the doors. Each of the Sians have completely different specs. It was Lamborghini's first production hybrid, in fact. The supercapacitor system linked to the 6.5-litre NAV12 that's gone on to be found as well in the Countach and gives us a preview of what's to come with the next generation Aventador. We then have something very, very unusual. This is the Hyperion XP1 prototype. It is a hydrogen fuel cell car, electric drivetrain, but hydrogen fuel cell as opposed to your traditional battery. Have a look at this. Prototype company based here, actually in California. Very, very unusual thing. The last car to complete our room is the Rimac Nevera. Of course, Bugatti Rimac have now merged under Mate Rimac, but this particular car is the 2,000 horsepower hypercar. I've seen this exact one as well. It's been a little bit of a theme going through here, boasting immense performance and acceleration. Of course, different powertrains really giving us a sign of what's happening in the future, I think, with this, but very much, again, that performance, that price, that exclusivity, along with a lot of the other cars that we've been able to see here in the exhibit. This is familiar. It's actually the original Hennessy Venom F5 model. This is the exact car that I walked around with John Hennessy when he showed it to the world at the Geneva Motor Show a fair few years ago. Of course, it has now gone into production. The first cars are being delivered. The Venom F5 Roadster is also following, and the Venom F5 Revolution, the track car, also. But it's cool to see this again. Obviously, a 300-mile-per-hour contender from Hennessy in Texas. We haven't yet finished with the hypercars. We have 2 McLaren Ultimate Series cars to take a look at. Firstly, the Elva, one of 149 of McLaren's open-top Barchetta. We've got the 4-litre twin-turbo V8 making over 800 horsepower. You also have the active air management system here, which raises a piece out of the front to divert the airflow over the car to give you a more pleasant experience driving it. But look at the spec as well of this particular car. The metallic blue paint with the black pinstripes against the dark grey metallic paintwork over the body. You've also got the blue splitter down there as well. It makes for quite the driving experience. But then next to it, we have McLaren's, or the new McLaren Automotive, we could say, their first hypercar, the hybrid McLaren P1. There were 375 cars, 5 of those were the original carbon series, and then 24 of them were rebodied in full exposed carbon bodies by MSO, McLaren Special Operations. This particular car is currently sitting in the aero mode, so you can see the wing slightly out of the rear deck, but not the full race mode, where it can lower the suspension even further, pull the wing up even higher. But to think that they launched this only 2 years into the new McLaren Automotive after introducing the 12C, and to be on the same pedestal as the 918 Spider and the LaFerrari was really quite the achievement. Well, it's the first time for me seeing this in the metal, the Tesla Cybertruck. It was launched just over 3 years ago, generated a huge amount of buzz. Of course, we're yet to see them on the road. It's actually ginormous as well, standing next to it. I think it's longer than a Rolls-Royce Phantom extended wheelbase, as it happens. Obviously, being a pickup, you have a flatbed at the back with the quad bike as well at the moment. Bit of a demonstration as part of a Tesla exhibit here that they actually have. Not sure what I feel about this. It'll be interesting to see if it actually does go into production, given the amount of orders that went in for them, the $100 refundable deposits that people put down. But also over this away is the deck model, as they call it, for the Roadster. And that is certainly an intriguing one to see more of in the future, and no doubt will boast some immense performance figures when the time comes. And there is the one that went up to space, or at least one positioned and spec'd like the one that went to space. Down in the vault is the sight of all sights. If you like Formula One, this is absolutely unreal. The cars here, and some of the pilots responsible for being behind the wheel of them. The Marlboro liveried McLarens, the Ferraris, Camel Lotus, Rothman's Williams. That was a big era following McLaren for me when Lewis won for the first time. Got the Toro Rosso next to the Ferrari here as well. This is absolutely unreal. 93, 94 Williams driven by Senna and Hill. This is breathtaking. There are more cars than I could possibly share all in one, but we've got an Enzo next to an F12 and a 550 Barchetta, GT40, GT, and this is just breathtaking. Then immediately opposite, an EB110 next to an XJ220. Wow, the hypercars of the 90s. Now, one of the fun things with this is that we have been collecting stickers for various places. We've added one from Cars, who stored this out here, and of course I have my Petersen sticker from the visit today. So I'm going to pop this actually just in here with the track day at COTA, Circuit of the Americas, because this car has now been to an event at the Peteresen Museum. So onwards, grab a bite to eat, hopefully it doesn't rain, and go to Beverly Hills. I do need to pull in to pay, but the funny thing about this is that's where they have the Tesla truck, the actual truck, on display. Okay, let's stop here for a minute and go work out what we actually need to do before we can leave. We are entering the city of Beverly Hills, the Beverly Hills sign up on that monument. I'm not quite sure what to call it right there, but we're heading towards Rodeo Drive because given we're here, we're going to take the car there. We took the car there on the day we actually got here to LA for the first time back in December. But the roads here, needless to say, are not exactly the best. The concrete slabs and gigantic potholes that I think have opened up thanks to the weather. Oh, this is rough. I mean, this car isn't normally that bad, but driving down here, this is really unpleasant. Oh, am I in a right turn only lane? Oh dear, I've got that wrong. Okay, we'll fix this and then go see if we can find anything. But as you can see, it has started to rain, so I suspect we're unlikely to track down much this afternoon. Something low and orange, it is a Corvette. I imagine there are lots of Corvettes around here. Still need to drive a Z06, a Z06, some point soon. We have just gone around the block, but for good reason, because here, in this showroom, wait for it, Ford GT, N-Attack GTR, and Speedtail. There's a McLaren Speedtail right there, and an Aventador, and there's a yellow SVJ here, an Aroma, and an 812 GTS. That's my kind of window shopping. Oh, and a Bronco, and a 488, and a 911. I like that. This is clearly like the dealer area of Beverly Hills on Wilshire Boulevard as we drive up this way towards the Beverly Wilshire and all of the hotels and all of that stuff. Wasn't expecting that. It continues. On that side, there is a Koenigsegg Regera in there, and I mean a whole load of supercar stuff. Is there a Bugatti behind it? I think I saw a Bugatti in there. Wow. What a pleasant surprise. And only just slightly up the road to our left is Ferrari Beverly Hills with a LaFerrari flanked by a TDF and an SF90. I cannot believe how many hypercars are in showrooms here, because it's not like one or two. We've just had Speedtail, Regera, I think there was a Chiron behind the Regera, LaFerrari, after everything that we've seen at the Petersen. And now we're actually arriving in the, I don't know what to call it, Beverly Hills proper, kind of the main area, but obviously with the rain and the dark, it's unlikely to be an area of many supercars right now, but you never know. There can always be surprises around the corner. We're about to turn onto Rodeo Drive. all of the influencers doing their photo and video thing all around. But here we are, in not very LA weather, on Rodeo Drive. The road armed with all of the world's fanciest designers and brands and everything. As we cruise up, you never know, there might be something cool lurking. G63s are plenty. Lots of window shopping, but not so many supercars today. Well, it's already starting to rain quite a bit, and we know that it's forecast to absolutely storm again in about an hour or two. So I think that is time to start our journey from here down towards Orange County again, get this parked up before it gets too nasty, because we're not going to be spotting many supercars. Today though, for a first day back here, we've done some awesome photos with GFWilliams. George, we've shot together many times over the years. I've known him for probably 12 years, something like that. So awesome to finally have him shoot this car out here. We've been to the Shelby event at the Petersen. We've been around looking at the hypercars. We've seen some of the hypercars in the showrooms. Perhaps a supercar or hypercar shopping video here in LA in Beverly Hills could be quite fun, maybe down the line. But now it's getting worse as I stand here. Time to get in there, we'll grab a jacket, go get this parked up. That's it, we're here in Los Angeles. This is the start of the GT Black Series tour continuing. We're going all the way across to Miami, but we're gonna be here for a week or two to begin with. There's a lot to come, so stay tuned for all of that. Thank you very much for your support, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.